What's up, Power Rise Crew? Today's video, we're working on the Cherokee. Now, as you guys, if you caught any of the videos I released before, this rig right here has some issues to where the previous owner's boyfriend was working on it and decided he didn't want to work on it no more, so I ended up buying it from them. So, I don't know what, he's no longer there, so I kind of having to come in behind him. I don't know if he knows what he's doing. What all he's done, what all he's checked, all this stuff. I'm having to figure out the engine, diagnose it as I go. So the first thing we need to do is compression check. But to do a compression check, you've got to tighten up the rocker arms, which is what we're doing today, and to a specific torque setting, which is 19 to 20 pounds. But that's not really all that exciting to watch, is it? So I'm also teaching you guys, especially young whippersnappers out there, teaching you guys, I ain't gonna say a new tool, but one that's not used very often anymore. Right there, old school beam style torque wrenches. Anymore, everybody's got digitals, click styles, stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that. Actually, I've got some click styles from inch pounds and foot pounds, but we're on torque to about 20 pounds, and every now and then, just for kicks and giggles, I like breaking this thing out just to, I don't know, make myself feel how old I really am, because I like built some of my first engines with this thing right here. Yes, it's in very good shape because I take care of my tools. So anyway, today's video, showing you guys how to use a beam style torque wrench and tighten up some rocker arms. Let's go. Now we're going to look through the book here and get our torque settings, and you can see, though, I've already got to the chapter here for inline 6-cylinder engine. And here is your firing order. There's your firing rotation, the front of the engine to orient front of the engine. Number 1 cylinder, number 2, number 3, number 4, blah blah blah. 1 through 6 go straight back, and then there's your firing order, but that's irrelevant to what we're doing today. See ya. Remains rocker arm bolts right here. It says 19 pounds. Just keep it simple. I'm just gonna bump it to 20. Now it's good to have these manuals like this, and this is your typical go to AutoZone, pick it up, Haynes repair manual. These books are okay, and I'm just going to give it that okay. I mean, they're good to get your torque specs from. But as far as their mechanical how-tos inside these things, they're not always the best at all. So the first thing we need to do is get these rocker arms tightened down, because there's several of them that are, this right here, finger tight, finger tight, finger tight. Okay, that one's tight, but who knows how tight. I just loosened that one. That one's loose, that one's loose. Loose, 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 and loose. Now I moved the wiring harness out of the way, got the camera set up so you guys can watch what's going on. These torqued to 19 pounds. Now before I start tightening these up, let me say something. On GM, you have to get number 1 cylinder certain position, get the rocker, get the cams in certain positions where the lifters are on the bottom of the cam lobe. Ford and Chrysler, not so much. The inline 6 cylinders, as long as you have 19 foot-pounds, it doesn't matter where your valve position is, your cam position, or whatever. Just torque them down. 19 pounds, you ain't got to worry about all that other fancy stuff. So let's torque them down, 19 pounds. Whoops, knocked the camera over. First things first, these things are loose. I'm not going to worry about the torque wrench quite yet. I got my little handy dandy palm ratchet thingy right here, or whatever you want to call it. I love this little ratchet, it's so cool. It's made by Tecton. Take. Right there stops. Right there stops. I don't know if you heard that pop or not, but what that is the ends of the valves have to set in a certain spot with inside the rocker arm, and the push rod itself, they have to be set in a certain position. If they're just a little bit off, when you tighten it out, you'll feel a subtle little pop where they'll seat in place. As you tighten it, you can see I'm pushing that valve down right there. But again, it does not matter, because you're torquing them down to a certain specs. You're not setting a specific valve lash like you do on GM. And the only thing I'm doing, I'm running them down. Even though you see the valve dropping, whenever I feel this bolt go, stop, dead, that means it's done, it's bottomed out. And that's the point you start torquing it to your 19 foot-pounds. It looks like the fellow who worked on this before did do one thing that I do agree with. See these little dots? There's 2 dots on this with 3 dots, 4 dots, 5 dots, and 6 dots. Well, he has none of that, which means it's going to be the last one because he put 1 on this one. That keeps the rocker arms in place because they'll wear to the certain valves and stuff. Because you want to keep your rocker arms and your valves, push rods, and all that stuff together because of how they wear together. Too, it's a handy little ratchet for stuff like this. Throw the wiring harness over on this side. Get that last one back here. Okay, again, the bolt just makes contact, and you tighten it up, it goes, stops dead, stop right there. Now it's time to break out the torque wrench. Alright, all you young whippersnappers that are used to your digitals and clickers and stuff like that, here's what you do with the old school beam style. This little needle right here swings to however much torque you put on it. Right there, see the 20? Well, just shy of that's going to be 19, but I'm going to go ahead and bump it to 20 because it's not going to hurt anything. It's just easier to say, and try to split in hairs, get in between those markers. So I'm going to hit right there on 20 pounds, and that was what I'm going to do my rockers at. So that's how you use the old school beam style. I've built several engines with this thing right here. Too, I'm going to get the camera. I'm going to let you guys watch this for all you people who've never used the beam styles. My hand position, see this right here? It floats, it pivots right here on this pin. What you don't want to do is bump it here or bump it there, because what you're actually doing, you're torquing the beam. You can take that beam, this right here is what you call the beam. If you take and twist right here too hard, you can actually make that thing, look, watch this right here. I want to take and twist this by my hand. See how it twists? So what you do is, this pivot, see how it pivots like that? Have it balanced. This is not touching up there, or this isn't touching right there. You want this right smack in the middle, balanced on that right there. So whenever you pull in your torque, you'll get accurate torque reading. But again, if you just, if you're manhandling, you're putting the Wheaties to it, and you're cranking down on it, and you've had too much Popeye spinach, look, you can bend it over like that. So just easy. Let it balance. Pull. And see right here? I've got it balanced. 20 pounds right there. And you just kind of flex a little bit. You don't feel the bolt move anymore. You're sitting right on 20 pounds. And just reiterate, look, we're on 20 pounds, but I can make it read more if I want to if I take and twist this. See, I'm not moving the bolt, but it's because I'm twisting this grip and pushing against it right here. I'm forcing the beam to bend. See, I haven't moved the bolt at all, but I can make it look like it's going about 20 to 30 pounds or so. Well, Now again, watch this. It's sitting natural. This isn't moving. This is balanced. A pull, we're sitting on 20 pounds torque, okay? But look, 20 pounds torque, I'm going to do this grip wrong. I'm going to torque it a little bit, meaning torquing it means taking this right here and twisting like this right here because I have this grip pushing against the beam. Okay, let's get it on 20. And watch this. I twist it. I'm pulling it to 25 right there, and I can pull it all the way to 30 if I want to. I never moved the bolt down here at all. It's just my grip, gripping this, my hand gripping this grip wrong, making it twist and torque. So you got to balance that grip if you're using the beam style, okay? Every now and then I break this thing out and just on low torque stuff. Now if I'm doing high torque stuff that's very repetitive, yeah, then I use my clicker. Apparently that had a little bit more to go. All right, there it is, it bottomed out, and I've got my grip right here. It's balanced. I'm pulling, and 20 pounds right there. Tighten this one up. Okay, see where we're at. We've got my grip balanced. 20 pounds. And so on, so on. Do all the rest of them like that. Another thing too, right, see where I have my hand right here? Don't grab hold of it, because you can also, again, I'm torquing that beam right there, and I'm making it move about 5 pounds just by flexing my hand like that. So if you got to put your hand here just for, I don't know, make yourself feel better for bracing or whatever, keep it down here and just using it like a pivot, but don't actually grip and twist. 20 pounds right there. Right there. Right there. $20. 20 pounds. £20. Make sure it's sitting good, because you don't want it twisting. Make sure, see, got my grip. Gotta keep it balanced. And 20 pounds. I built my big block Dodge Charger with this thing right here that I had many years ago. Now let's cover one more thing that a lot of you, there's been a lot of people out there now call me out on something. I've got right there to view a camera right there. Alright, all you gearheads out there that's built a gazillion engines and stuff, what is wrong with that setup? If you're saying that I'm using an extension, you're pretty well right. Now, I'm only doing 20 pounds torque right here, as you just seen me do. Only 20 pounds, I'm not going to sweat using an extension because it's not that big a deal. Now, if I was doing mains for the crank, no, I don't use extensions. I make sure my socket is attached directly to this, straight to the bolt, nothing more. As you see here, I've got a reducer from 1/2 inch down to 3/8, and using a 3/8 extension, then of course the socket. The 3/8, if I was going to go up to 100 pounds torque or something, you will get a little bit of deflection, and believe it or not, you will get a little bit of deflection or twist out of your extensions, stuff like that, and you can actually mess up your torque settings. So if you're going into high torque stuff, and this is even including with the click styles, you don't want to use extensions, because like I said, extensions will get a little bit of twist or a little bit of deflection. I would say anything above, say 40 to 50 pounds or something like that, don't use extensions. And honestly, anything 50 pounds, I probably wouldn't either. So definitely don't use extensions on your higher torque stuff. Like I said, I'm doing 20 pounds here, so an extension is not going to hurt anything, because you're not really going to get enough deflection out of that for it to cause any issues. Plus, it just being a rocker arm, if it were mains, rod bearings, or something like that, you want as close to perfection as you can get, okay? So If you guys were out there fussing at me, some of you top level gearheads, hey, look at that, he's using an extension. That's a bad thing. On lower torque settings, no, it's not a big deal. Those of you who've never seen the beam style torque wrench, I hope you learned a little something. They're actually, I don't know, I can't say if they're handy, because you really got to watch that dial right there, and you got to be sure that your grip's balanced and all kinds of stuff. They're not as convenient to use, but I don't know, like I said, for low torque settings, I kind of like playing with them every now and then. Is there an advantage or disadvantage to these versus the click style or the digitals? The one thing about these is that, one thing about the beams, they really don't go out of calibration. Unless you're really beating on them and you don't take care of them, they really don't go out of calibration versus your click styles and your beams. Every so often they should be checked to make sure they're in calibration. I've had this one right here since I was probably mid-20s, something like that, so this baby right here is old. But yes, I take care of my tools. That dial's still in perfect shape, and I wipe my tools down. Yeah, I take care of them, so I can say. Next thing I gotta do is check all the torque settings on my head bolts. I might make a video out of that, I might not, I don't know. But definitely when I get around to do the compression check on the engine to see, do we have solid compression inside the bore before I put the rest of the engine together to see if it starts. Also, I'm going to check the cooling system, see if I got any leaks in there anywhere. So those will definitely be videos. The good thing about this rig right here is that I am clueless, absolutely clueless to the condition of this engine. I'm having to depend or assume or whatever that the guy before me didn't know what he was doing. Not being mean, not looking down on anything like that, but it's just that I don't want to go through a whole lot of headache putting this thing together to discover it's a bad engine. It's got a blown head gasket, a cracked block, or who knows what, you know? So if there's any issues, I want to try to discover them now so I don't have to disassemble a bunch of other stuff. If I have to, I've got another engine block. I can drop in this right here, another complete engine actually. If I have to, but before I go too deep into this thing here, I want to be sure it's solid before I get it all put together. If it's bad, I can take it all back apart. See what I'm saying? All right, so that's gonna make some very good tutorial videos for you guys. If you get some old beat up rig that you're having to diagnose and figure out the engine before you get together, this is gonna make a great set of videos on how to bring an old junker barn find back to life. So everyone, if you enjoyed this video, hit me with a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, leave me some cool comments down below. Peace. Later, y'all. Thanks for hanging out. See, I've even got the original blow mold case for it. But the tape's not on it because it's cracked up or busted or anything. Up inside here, which you can't see, and I'm not pulling the tape off of it, that spray foam, like you use to seal up windows or cracks in your house or something like that to stop air drafts, I sprayed that foam up inside that, filled up all the gaps with inside the blow mold case to stiffen it up. You see, it pushed the sides and it's not flexing because of that spray foam inside of it. That made that case rigid. It made it last a lot longer and protecting my tools more. There's a tip for you.